Hi, Romans here and welcome to another music review. I review every album from a viewpoint of a musician, as I'm a singer, songwriter and a bass player for my own group Jakobe, and more than 2 years ago we released our debut album called Pursuits in Life. What makes it unique is that it's a heavy prog rock without guitars. Instead you have drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards. You can check out all of our music videos on my YouTube channel. And in the description of all these videos you will find all the information about where is the record available. It's available on all digital platforms like Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, but also in this digipack version of a CD with a very beautifully illustrated 20 pages long booklet. So in case you want one, all you need to do is contact me via an email, on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can get one through Bandcamp as well. And today I'm going to review the new album from Pain of Salvation, Panther.
Music review. Music review.
Pain of Salvation is a prog metal band from Sweden, and they probably don't need any introduction because they are one of the most celebrated bands in the genre. They are basically fronted by the singer and the guitar player Daniel Gildenlöv, if I pronounced his name right. And the guy is pretty young, he's like 47, and this is actually their 16th studio album, which is pretty amazing. I would really like to have 16 albums under my belt by the time I'm 47, but I probably won't have that many records, even though it's quality that matters, not quantity, but still, you know, it's pretty impressive. And their new album is actually coming out tomorrow, and as of now I've heard it 7 times. Let's dive right into the review. The album opens up with the track Accelerator that you might have heard already because they shot a music video for it. And this song immediately brings Leprous to mind. It's got that vibe, and this is something I've noticed even with their previous album to a certain degree. And I really love that dark electronic beat with that heavy guitar instrumentation. Future starts with a slide guitar, which always invokes like country music, but then it is sort of backed by that really heavy and dark groove. And it almost goes to that gothic territory, which is something they have touched in the past, like slightly, for example, the track Ashes. And when he starts singing, we get this, I'm not sure if it's a cello or violin or just his voice with some sort of effect, but it sounds really cool.
A better and improved world for our mankind.
We have a melodic and punchy chorus, and I especially love the transition at the end back into that heaviness. Restless Boy is a shorter track, under 4 minutes, but this is a truly progressive track because there is always something happening and the song doesn't have like a fixed structure. Those electronic voices at the beginning are pretty unsettling. They actually remind me a little bit of the album Drama from Yes, which I've been listening to recently. It's very futuristic, post-apocalyptic, and towards the end I love that phrasing with the bass drum. It's pretty cool from a rhythmical point of view. Wait is a very dramatic song and also creates a contrast to everything we've heard so far, because so far it was like this really heavy prog metal with some electronic elements, and here there's a much more laid-back instrumentation with acoustic guitars and a big focus on the piano.
Wait another day, wait another night, just wait another week, just wait another month.
Also, in this track I realized that, wow, this is the fourth song on the album and still no guitar solos. And basically there are no guitar solos on this album, save it for the last track where we get 2 of them. And over the past 3 years, there have been quite many albums I reviewed, and I sort of noticed this trend, the absence of guitar solos. I'm not sure if it's getting like an obsolete thing or it's just getting out of fashion, but many of these rock and metal bands don't really have guitar solos anymore, or there are just like a handful of them on a record. I also don't have guitar solos on my album, but that's because I have a saxophone, and I don't think saxophone solos will ever grow out of style or anything. Keen to a Fall starts with a very nice synth arpeggiator. But apart from that, in terms of the instrumentation, it's very similar to Wait, in that we have again these like acoustic instruments. And it seems like, you know, this is one part of Pain of Salvation, because they have, I think, 2 albums, one of them may be a live disc, I'm not sure, but 2 albums where they went fully acoustic, like, you know, they sort of explored this side of music. And it has an interesting grungy chorus. Fur is a short instrumental on banjo, and again banjo has that like country vibe, but it's generally a pretty dark track. The title track Panther is really cool. I love when the verses start, they have a very strong hip-hop vibe. The second time we hear verses, they're much heavier, so that's why they go more into nu metal territory, and the chorus has just one of the most memorable melodies on the album, and it's also one of the most memorable melodies this year.
How does it feel to be you? She once asked me. I said I feel like a panther.
Then we get back to that acoustic instrumentation with the track Species until it rocks up.
All that matters beats through like plutonium glow.
It's got a very interesting chorus. The final track on the album is 13.5 minutes long, Icon, and this song sort of defies expectations, because I was sort of expecting this track to be the summary of everything we've heard on the record. I was expecting it to be this epic climax of the album, but it's neither, really. It's a very intimate, I would say it's the most intimate track on the album, and it's really not what I would expect it to be. And in the first couple of listenings, I was maybe a little like bewildered by that track. I was like, why is it like that? But the more I listened to it, the more I grew very, very fond of it. You know, when it starts, actually that melody has a very strong Nightwish vibe. Like I could imagine a Nightwish song based on that. But the actual chorus has a beautiful, beautiful melody. And also one time we get the chorus with gospel arrangements, or, well, actually gospel vocals. It sounds really great.
I followed you, and the spring turned to summer. I followed you, and the river turned to the sea. I followed you.
Then the song gets really dark. And then we get into this really emotional section, both melodically and lyrically.
As a child, it worried me that all the ones I loved one day die.
And the song sort of shifts between these heavy, dark parts and these more laid-back emotional sections, and it really works very nice. To sum up, I really enjoy this album. It's very dark, it's exactly my type of progressive metal that I like. An interesting thing about Pain of Salvation from my point of view is that I am not necessarily a big fan of their music. I was listening to their albums like 10 years ago, and they were honestly driving me crazy, to the point where usually when I was listening to their music I was like anxious, I was nervous, I wanted to turn it off, and the whole music just seemed like an excuse for Daniel to sort of show his big vocal range and stuff. Of course, I'm planning on revisiting their discography because after 10 years my perspective of their albums may be pretty different, but it was with their previous album that a friend of mine recommended it to me. He was like, yeah, that album is pretty much in that Lepers style. I mean, if you like Lepers, you're gonna like this one because it's totally different from anything they've done so far. And I listened to that album, and unfortunately I didn't do a review in 2017, but I included it in my top albums of 2017 video. Don't watch it, the production is pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, I liked it, and I really loved this new album, so yeah, I'm just starting to be a fan. Better late than never. If you like this video, consider supporting me by purchasing my debut album Pursuits in Life, because I include audio samples in my reviews and thus I make them the most informative and entertaining to watch. I usually get a copyright claim, meaning that I will never be able to monetize my video, so I will never be able to make any money out of it. So basically the only way how you can support me is by buying my album, and I think you're gonna love it. Have you heard this album already? You can let me know in the comment section below whether you agreed or disagreed with me. If you are a Pain of Salvation fan, you can let me know how well do you think it compares to their previous stuff, maybe which record is your favorite one. You can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, you can find links to both in the description of this video below. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. Check out my own original music, my live performances, my worst to best series, and quite a lot of other reviews as well. Thanks a lot for watching.